Hello there, welcome to CoreTV News at 4. I'm Gete. Senators loyal to Senate President Bukola Saraki are insisting that President Muhammadu Buhari could not have summoned a meeting at the same time the 8th National Assembly was to be inaugurated. This was the explanation for showing up at the complex rather than attend the meeting at the International Conference Center. They also argue that there were at least 74 senators in the chamber of the day Saraki emerged as Senate President. Spokesman for the group, Dino Maleye, said at a news conference shortly after plenary that the inauguration and subsequent election was in line with due process. The group of senators opposed to the emergence of Bukola Saraki as Senate President are heading to the law court. The senators who were at the International Conference Center at the time of inauguration said at the news conference that 57 senators cannot elect a Senate President. They described the election as unconstitutional and insisted that they were heading for the court to challenge Saraki's election. The senators, who were led by Barnabas Gemade, claimed that the inauguration was done contrary to a letter from President Muhammadu Buhari asking for a delay in the proclamation.
As loyal party members, we will take all necessary political and legal means to strengthen our democracy and democratic process in line with the change that we promised our teaming supporters during our electioneering campaign. In our effort to meet up with the time for the inauguration, we rushed to honor the invitation of Mr. President, and while at the conference center, news filtered to us that the clerk of the National Assembly has started the process of election of the Senate President in our absence. This process, which remains unconstitutional, cannot confer legitimacy to the elected Senate President.
This is the first time we are witnessing this sad event that took place yesterday. In 2007, all of us were present. In 2011, all of us were also present. Yesterday, only 57 or 56 were present. That is most unprecedented in the history of the Senate of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. Why was the clerk in a hurry to conduct that election, knowing full well that the quorum had not been met? This is a very sensitive issue. It is a constitutional matter as well. It's a legal issue.
Senate President Bukola Saraki wants to administer the oath of office and senators elected on the platform of the All Progressives Congress who were absent from Tuesday's inauguration. 28 senators, including Hamen Lawan and George Akume, were sworn in, and all the federal lawmakers took turns to shake hands with the Senate President. Senator Oluremi Tinubu, however, chose not to shake hands with Saraki. She whispered a few words to the Senate President, handed over her certificate to him, and bowed before turning to her seat. The Senate has formally denied that Senate President David Mark is now the Senate leader. Senator Dino Maleye made the clarification at a news conference at the National Assembly complex. He explained that the former president was only singled out to be sworn in separately as a mark of honor during Tuesday's inauguration.
There was a misrepresentation yesterday on NTA where it was erroneously stated that the highly respected Senator David Mark was sworn in as the majority leader. That story is baseless, has no iota of fact in it, it's falsehood and totally not true. What happened is that out of respect for the former Senate President, he was sworn in as an individual instead of the groupings that took place. So we are using this opportunity to correct the erroneous impression out there that he was sworn in as the Senate leader of the 8th Senate.
The All Progressives Congress has described the emergence of Senator Bukola Saraki from Kwara Central as the Senate President and Yusuf Dogara as the Speaker of the House of Representatives of the 8th National Assembly as totally unacceptable and the height of party indiscipline. This was in a statement issued in Abuja by the party's National Publicity Secretary Lai Mohammed. The APC said both Saraki and Dogara are not the candidates of the APC, and the majority of its National Assembly members elect for the positions of Senate President and House Speaker. The party's publicity scribe ordered that the party duly met and conducted a straw poll and clear candidates emerged for the post of Senate President, Deputy Senate President and Speaker of the House of Representatives. Supported by a majority of all senators-elect and members-elect of the House of Representatives, while adding that all National Assembly members-elect who emerged on the platform of the party are bound by that decision and that the party is supreme. It, however, advised all its loyal senators-elect to report to the Senate to be sworn in order to discharge their constitutional duties. The People's Democratic Party has advised the All Progressives Congress to respect the will of the people and accept the independence of the legislature. It also congratulated newly elected Senate President Bukola Saraki, his deputy Ike Ekweremadu, as well as the new Speaker of the House of Representatives, Yakubu Dogara. The party said in a statement that the election shows that no section of the country should be neglected on national issues. PDP spokesman Olisa Metu described the development in both chambers of the National Assembly as victory for democracy and reflection of what its parties always believed in. More than 3,000 staff from 14 local government areas of Edo State are demanding the payment of their unpaid salaries running into several months. The angry staff, decked in black clothes, protested around major streets of Benin City while carrying placards inscribed with all manner of wordings and chanting solidarity songs. The protesters called on the present administration of Governor Adams Oshiomhole and local government commission to offset their backlog of salaries or face their consequences. The local government staff, led by the state president of Nigeria Union of Local Government Employees, Comrade Young Ilekena, made this known while he led them to Senate State Council Secretariat of the Nigeria Union of Journalists.
At the NUJ Edo Secretariat, staffers of 14 local government councils in protest in their 1,000-strong councils to lament the untold hardship as a result of their unpaid salaries of about 5 to 9 months, observing that Eson South East, Estako East and Owen East local government councils are the 3 councils that have so far paid and not owing staffs. NUJ State President said they are not slave and cannot be second citizens, stressing that other agencies have paid, wonder why the local government commission and the state government continue to stifle the system with continuous cry of shortfall in allocation.
We are here today to register our protest, peaceful protest, for the abandonment of local government workers for the past 8 months. For no salary. We have been dialoguing, negotiating, pleading, interventions from various quarters, but they all seem to be in vain. We went on strike for 3 days. We were being reprimanded, called troublemakers, because we demanded for our salaries.
He appealed to the NUJ to help disseminate the information while also urging the state governor to take care of its responsibility of paying teachers and not abdicate it to local government.
Other citizens that are working, they get their salary, but the local government workers, no salary. Are we second-class citizens in our own system? We want to make it clear to solve this lingering salary problem in Edo State. The state government must take its responsibility in the payment of teachers' salary. You can see from our banner, the local government pays 100% salary to teachers, while the state is paying 0.
The protesting local government employees later dispersed the NUJ ground to continue their protest, with a stern call to all staffs to continue the protests.
It's CoreTV News at 4. We'll take this break. Please stay with us.
As news breaks, people don't let events pass without giving their comment or reactions.
When the problem arises in society, these are the people that will be consulted.
To cleanse the corruption in society, we are not to provide information for good life and also security of life and property in this country.
The academic society have the loudest voice on this platform.
Whether you call it a sovereign national conference or a national conference, it's about the people of Nigeria.
There should be a change in power. In any way they can do it.
I think there's a script already.
Every Tuesday at 8:45 p.m. on this station. From the Ivory Tower, a must-watch for the learning minds.
Welcome back. Now, do not forget that you can also reach us on our social media platforms on Facebook, facebook.com/CoreTV News. On Twitter at CoreTV News NG. And on YouTube at youtube.com/CoreTV News. We continue with the rest of our stories. The ongoing crisis between the management and staff of the Federal Medical Center Owerri has continued with no end in sight. The facility, the biggest in Owerri, the Imo State capital, serving thousands of people, have been close to patients for some weeks and now. Correspondent Ajibade Awofeso, who has been monitoring the story, presents this update on how the people are coping with the closure of the health facility of their choice.
Here is the Accidents and Emergency Department of the FMC Owerri. You can see behind me most of the beds are empty. Does it mean that there are no accidents in the state? Does it mean there are no victims of accidents? No. There are lots. Many of them have been here and they've been turned back to other health facilities simply because of the ongoing crisis between the management and workers of the FMC. The allied workers who have been observing what they describe as work and rule have been coming to the center without performing their official duties. They appear mostly in black attires against the norm of all white attires for health workers. Devoid of the usual activities, the Federal Medical Center Owerri has been like this for over 3 weeks now, with management and workers of the center at each other's throats. These workers, who refuse to disclose their identities, spoke on the ongoing crisis.
It's not the same, which is perfect. Also, from other colleagues that are in the hospital who are due for promotion, some of them 5 years, 10 years, 7 years, they are being suppressed, nobody to promote them. They go for promotion, they choose, in fact they choose, they do interview, but at the end of the day they choose the people they want to promote. So many things have happened. The recent that caused the offspring was the privatization issue, as I got from how they explained to us.
As now the list was 48,000, which I'm one of the list staff. Here now 27,000. 27,000 for example, because us now the list and our 48,000, but here now 27,000. And the promotion, agri promotion, and we have any areas for that promotion.
The leaders of this joint union had a press conference today. Then yesterday they footed what the PAMSEC of Ministry of Health said, where he alleged many things on us. So for us to start work, we'll resolve, unless she is sacked, we cannot come back to work. Period.
While the warring continues between the management and the staff, the people call on the government to come to their aid and provide lasting solution. Ajibade Awofeso, CoreTV News, Owerri.
The emergence of Bukola Saraki as the Senate President has thrown Kwara State into jubilation. The eventual election of Saraki has also blurred party lines and divides by Kwara politicians, as both Kwara APC and the PDP welcome the development. Rashid has more.
Immediately after the general election, the game of who becomes what in the 8th Assembly has been on. As the struggle intensified lately, Kwara State The home state of Bukola Saraki was up in jubilation with the news of his emergence as Senate President against all odds. The opposition party, the PDP, was first to congratulate Saraki, saying his emergence, especially with a PDP man as his deputy, is a sign of change in Nigeria's democracy.
No, I cannot see how it's going to precipitate crisis, because you are giving what is Caesar to Caesar, and what is of God you are giving to God. I see it as a step forward in re-engineering democracy in Nigeria. One, if he can get the seat unopposed as it is, it's because there are some forces that came up, and they know that those who are designing his failure before will not be able to stand before those forces.
For Kwara APC, and indeed the state government, irrespective of the way Saraki emerged, it's a well-deserved victory.
All the rules required for his election him as Senate President. The lower houses where people just tracked from him.
Kind of opposition party mounting that kind of seat that Ekiremadu has been given today. And that shows unity in this country. That shows that there's no serious polarization between the two parties.
The composition of the Senate leadership is indeed unique, but the Kwara APC and PDP maintain same front, saying everything done on the floor is legal.
My initial reaction as a Nigerian is one of elation. I'm excited and happy that there to be his colleague.
The APC bloc kicking, the end of the pre-inauguration leadership crisis may not be in sight, as the 8th Assembly has been laid on what observers tagged as a shaky foundation. Rashid, CoreTV News, Ilorin.
And from Kwara, we go to Edo State, where the Edo State Police Command have charged 96 suspects to court for various crime-related offences, including the 11 suspected cult leaders arrested 3 weeks ago in Benin over killing arising from cult clashes. The suspects have been arraigned before a special magistrate court within the command headquarters in Benin City for offences ranging from cultism, kidnapping, murder, armed robbery, and unlawful possession of firearms. Edo State correspondent has more in this report presented from our studios.
Following the arrest of the 11 suspected cultists 3 weeks ago and their subsequent parade before newsmen on the orders of Inspector General of Police Solomon Arase, arising from the alarming loss of lives from clashes between cult groups in the state police commanders arraigned the suspects along with some others. The State Police Commissioner Sam Adegbuyi says the IGP's intervention was a game changer.
From Delta and Anambra State, as well as personnel from Federal SAS. The synergy paved off, and in the process, total number of 227 suspects were arrested in connection with cultism, kidnapping, murder, armed robbery, and unlawful possession of firearms throughout Edo State. Exhibits recovered 8 AK-47 rifles, 10 locally made.
Parading the suspects arrested by the Command Public Relations Officer, Deputy Superintendent of Police Stephen Unwoche, before newsmen, the PPRO said most of them were arrested in the state and will be charged accordingly.
They shall be standing trial for being members of different cult groups. They are cultists. They confessed to be members of different cults, though variously arrested at different points in time and places in the town. But these ones seated are members of confirmed cult group, namely Eye, Mafite, Black Axe, Aye, and all that. So they are all confirmed members. And some of the exhibits we recovered came from some of them. Not all, some of them. But basically, all of them here are cultists, confirmed.
One of the 11 suspected cultists brought in from Abuja, speaking on behalf of others to newsmen, denied all the allegations leveled against him and the 10 others. He says the police is perpetrating injustice.
We were arrested in a meeting where we were supposed to help with the Commissioner of Police, where we were asked to book our assistance into assisting the police with information, because we are not law enforcement agents. We are ceded to it, which we have been doing before now, since the former Commissioner of Police. And we got there and we were arrested by the federal SARS. We were taken to Abuja and paraded by assisting them with information, because all the crime that happen in our populace happens in communities, and in the communities that these things happen, most of these criminals are known. If they are known and the policemen cannot identify them, ours was to assist with intelligence information, so that which we have been doing over time.
The 11 suspects had earlier protested that the police should separate them from other crime suspects to be paraded. Among items recovered from them are arms including live cartridges, bottle ox, sword and tear gas.
The police have arrested 6 suspects in connection with the death of Professor Hamid Falaki of the Ahmadu Bello University, Zaria. Falaki was killed in Kano by a mob who thought he was a Boko Haram member. The suspects Ilyasu Musa, Marcus Hamid, Muntari Matu, Bello Hassan and Nura Ibrahim are to be charged to court for culpable homicide. Meanwhile, the police authorities say some officers and men would also face trial for negligence and a discharge of the duties at the crime scene. They were said to have done nothing to rescue the professor and later claimed that the victim and his associates were Boko Haram members. There were palpable tension in Bayelsa State on Tuesday following the rejection of the victory of the candidate for the All Progressives Grand Alliance at the rescheduled assembly election. The Barito Akpagi-led Independent National Electoral Commission in the state turned down the verdict of the presiding officer, Bere Kemo Bathala, announcing the ABGA candidate Alfred Watson as the winner of the poll held last Saturday. Some politicians and supporters of Watson said there was no reason why the electoral umpire should reject the poll results, describing the action of INEC as shameful and that the Dixon administration is manipulating it. But other groups within the ruling People's Democratic Party called on the ABGA's candidate to stop parading himself as the winner of the rescheduled assembly election in Brass Constituency 2 in Brass local government area of the state. But in a statement issued by the public relations officer of the commission, Timidi Wairowe, he declared the last Saturday's House of Assembly rescheduled election in Brass Constituency 2 as inconclusive. It's CoreTV News at 4. We'll take another break. Please stay with us.
Every day, every hour, and every minute, news break in Nigeria. Things happen so fast, it's most times difficult to track and comprehend them. But that's what we do right here on Digit 360. 2015, would you want to come back again?
It's like asking Jesus Christ if he knew he was going to die, will you want to come back as the savior of the world again?
We do not just help you track the stories, we break them down, explore all the angles, analyze the issues so that you can fully comprehend the stories and use them to make the right decisions.
Welcome back. Now outside Nigeria, relatives of 44 of the 150 victims of the Germanwings plane crash, including 16 German school children, are to view their coffins in Dusseldorf. They will be allowed to see the coffins inside a hangar at the airport before the carriage drives past the school on Wednesday. The victims' remains are the first to be repatriated following delays over errors on the death certificates. 18 of the victims, 16 school children and 2 teachers, were from the Joseph Koing Gymnasium School in the northwestern German town of Hawthorne and were returning from an exchange trip in Barcelona when the plane crashed. The passengers were from 18 countries, including Australia, Argentina, and Japan, but most of those on board were either Spanish nor German. The Executive Board and Management of Nigerian National League (NNL) have threatened to impose a heavy monetary fine on clubs that have continued to use unregistered and unapproved match jerseys in the ongoing league. The defaulting clubs will henceforth face a penalty of 100,000 naira only in the first instance, and other sanctions may follow if the trend does not stop. The NNL Secretary Lawrence Katking, in a letter sent to the all league clubs, stated that the use of unregistered and unapproved jerseys are in clear contravention of Article 1.6, Section 11 of the Rules and Regulations of the League, ordering that the offenders are liable to the fine of 100,000 naira per each match and the jersey were used. The scribe has used clubs who indulge in such breach to desist or face the wrath of the league board. Actress and activist Laverne Cox will be preserved in her current glorious form for all eternity when she becomes the first transgender woman ever to receive the honor of a Madame Tussauds waxwork portrait. Cox, best known for her Emmy-nominated Turn on Orange in the New Black, will see her waxworks unveiled later this month at San Francisco's Pride Conference. The figure will ultimately live at Madame Tussauds' San Francisco location in Fisherman's Wharf. West Ham has named former defender Slaven Bilic as their new manager. The 46-year-old replaced Sam Allardyce, who left by mutual consent last month after the Hampers finished 12th in the Premier League. Bilic, who signed a 3-year deal, said it is a great place to play and feels like home. He played 54 times for the Upton Park side between 1996 and 1997 and managed Courtier for 6 years, beating England twice in the Euro 2008 qualifiers. And that's our news for this hour. Thank you so much for staying on with us till the end. On behalf of the entire news production crew, I am Geft or Gete. Good evening.